massive Thomas Fire is still burning in Southern California. It is the third largest wildfire in the state's history, and it's destroyed hundreds of homes.
The flames gutted an apartment in the city of Ventura. Some residents lost everything and barely made it out alive. Here's more from CNN affiliate KEYT.
I'm thinking that's my patio right there.
Patricia Ride returned to the spot where she lived for the last 17 years until the flames of the Thomas Fire took that away.
This is the first time we've actually been allowed to drive up, and we actually walked around the back, and it's just, there's nothing there.
And at midnight, I wake up with him with the flashlight in my face, and I looked out my window, and there was flames that were like 100 feet all around us.
Apartment manager at Harbor View Villas in Ventura said many of her residents were sleeping when the fire approached. She tried to wake them up while officials alarmed everyone to get out.
What was once a paradise was like a war zone. It's the scariest thing I've ever been through in my entire life.
Half of the 90-unit complex is destroyed. 65 residents are now without a home, including Patricia, who woke up to her son-in-law pounding on the door to get out.
I didn't take my wallet, any personal things. Basically, I left with the clothes in my bag. If I had been thinking, I would have gotten my car and followed him, but of course I wasn't thinking, so my car was there, and I didn't have rental insurance when I moved in here. It wasn't something that you had to do.
Many residents living here didn't have renter's insurance, but Jeanette says despite the huge loss, there's more to be grateful for.
I'm so grateful that none of my residents were injured. All of them were able to get out in time.
I lost a place that I desperately loved living. I loved living here.
The apartment complex is giving back to their tenants. They will be holding a party at the Discovery in Ventura on Sunday with the theme, New Beginnings.
Enjoy the day and celebrate their life, that we made it out okay.
On the phone now, I'm joined by Captain Lucas Spellman. He's a public information officer with CAL FIRE. And Captain Spellman, we know you're really busy. Thanks for talking with us. So just to talk more to us about why this particular fire in this place where it is so difficult to fight.
Well, a lot of the 5-year drought was a little bit overcome in some of the areas throughout California, but as you can see, the fires throughout the summer succumbed to those dry conditions again. But the Santa Barbara area never recovered from the drought and is still really close to the drought. Didn't get very much rain throughout the winter months, and so this just carries on for another 6 years. We have lots of fires every single day throughout the Southern California area, up to several hundred actually, but you add some winds like we've had, and you can see that at some points firefighters can only be defensive. They can't even attack the fire to the front because it's moving so quickly.
What can you tell us about the evacuations in this area? How many more people have been told they have to leave?
Well, we don't have an exact number of that. We'll probably have that in the morning time, but we do have Santa Barbara, Montecito, and Carpinteria all in the foothills there as that fire is heading down towards those areas. We saw some pictures, I think, that you guys had shown earlier today about the fire coming down in those areas. You can imagine how many people will be affected in those towns.
Right, and you were saying, too, earlier that we're looking at some video right now of it coming over a ridge, and it's just too dangerous to put firefighters in front of the western edge.
Yeah, in some situations, it all depends on where they're at. There are places we can make stands, but under heavy vegetation and those gusts up to 50, 60 miles an hour, it's very dangerous for everybody, and so we have to be tactically correct, and we might bump down several areas and try to do burning operations to burn some of that fuel up to stop it. But as the fire is just going and we're bump and running, as we call it, as we would go and go from house to house and save each house and move to the next one, that's when it gets very dangerous, and that's how the fire will progress throughout areas that are up in the hills where houses aren't particularly in a town, but they're in little pockets, and those are the houses that are really hard to save in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. We can understand that. 8,400 firefighters doing just incredible work out there day in and day out. There was the loss of a firefighter this week, and I understand that his memorial is today. How are teams on the ground dealing with that?
Well, it's really devastating to any of us. And actually, myself, I leave today. I'll be dealing with some of the procession tomorrow and the next day. And so have a very heavy heart, and really the hardest part is just dealing with the families afterwards. You can imagine everybody's minds on Christmas and their own families, and just to think that Corey actually has a little baby daughter and his wife's pregnant, and it just puts things into perspective for all of us that we need to get home safe.
Absolutely. 8,400 firefighters still working on this Thomas fire. Again, Captain Lucas Bellman talking with us there. Well, South Africa's future hangs in